He's a busy man, but today President Barack Obama has been dealing with over 13,000 questions fired at him on the White House website during a so-called online town hall session. The crisis featured prominently, but curiously, the most popular question was a demand for marijuana to be legalized as a way of coping with the downturn. Well, for more on that, I'm now joined from Washington by Aaron Houston of the Marijuana Policy Project. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Houston. The U.S. firmly bans marijuana use. Do you think there's any chance of the ban being lifted at all?
Oh, I certainly do. We're seeing a groundswell of support across the nation, which was highlighted by the voting on Barack Obama's website recently. 3.6 million votes were cast, as I understand it. And of course, marijuana, taxing and regulating marijuana and ending marijuana prohibition was at the top of that list, as it has been in 3 separate rounds of voting on his websites in the past. Marijuana legalization in some form has topped those voting rounds. As well as a lot of discussion in this city, in Washington right now, about legalizing marijuana so that we would take away the huge profits of the Mexican drug cartels, which are threatening the stability of Mexico and threatening the United States at our southern border. 70%, 60 to 70% of the cartel's profits come from marijuana sales in the United States. If we were to tax and regulate marijuana like alcohol, then we would take away those 60 to 70% profits of the cartels and actually get some handle on this issue, keep it out of kids' hands, and regulate it like alcohol so that we have a safer system of regulation that actually controls it. Right now, the problem is so out of hand because of our policies.
Well, President Obama has confessed that he smoked dope himself before. Why is he so opposed to it now, do you think?
In his response today, he chuckled a little bit, and I was disappointed to see that. I think that indicates that the nearly 100 years of propaganda war in this country against marijuana have perhaps even gotten to our president a little bit, and the fact that there was a joke made about it indicates that he's not immune to that culture war either, and he's not immune to that propaganda. We see this as a joke. We have seen this over years as a joke that's brought up when newspapers write about it. Occasionally they write sort of silly headlines about it. But I will say that now that the Mexican drug cartels are threatening our country, and now that our economy is in such dire straits, people are actually starting to talk about this issue in a much more serious way. It's no laughing matter that the drug cartels in Mexico get 70% of their profits from marijuana sales, and it's also no laughing matter that we would generate between around $14 to $40 billion in revenue and savings per year if we were to tax and regulate marijuana. What's also no laughing matter is that our current marijuana laws have simply not worked. 86% of high school seniors say that marijuana is very easy to get. That is simply no laughing matter. That is a serious problem that needs addressing.
Okay, well, you talk about greater revenue, that the profits could be taxed and so forth, but how could legalizing marijuana help the U.S. in the global crisis? Surely this is a time when people need to be at their most alert. If you could answer very briefly, please. Thank you.
Well, people need to be alert, but using marijuana, which is less harmful than alcohol, will make them no less alert than they are now. Again, we could make $41.6 billion per year in savings and tax revenue from legalizing marijuana, taxing and regulating like alcohol. I just don't see that as a problem whatsoever.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That was Aaron Houston there, Director of Government Relations at the Marijuana Policy